Welcome to the recording of the Finding Work series, Presenting Your Skills. What we will cover in this recording include what makes you employable, what are employability skills, ways to identify your skills and those of the job from the job advertisements, how to present your skills in your CV, how to present your skills in cover letters, and some do's and don'ts with respect to presenting your skills. First, let's have a look at what makes you employable. From the diagram, looking at the bottom row, we know that your degree-specific knowledge, skills, and abilities are central to your being employable, but these alone do not sufficiently enhance your employability. Increasingly, companies expect you to have a set of generic skills that you can apply almost immediately when entering the world of work. Skills like communication, like presentation, like problem solving, collaboration, for example. This makes it imperative that you develop experiences whilst you are studying. And those experiences can include general life experiences, work experiences, everything related to hobbies and sporting activities. Any experience that will give you an opportunity to develop the skills the generic skills employers are looking for. With the increasing focus on relationships in the workplace and graduates seeking more and more meaningful work, it is important that you then also have a sense of emotional intelligence, so that a sense of you understanding what motivates you and understanding what motivates others. So to foster those positive relationships in the world of work. Learning about the world of work and how to successfully apply for jobs also enhances your employability. Taken together and reflecting upon all of these elements increases your sense of self-confidence, your self-esteem, and your self-efficacy. Essentially, this enhances your belief in your worth, belief in your ability to succeed in any situation, which projects a sense of self-confidence, which is very attractive to employers and significantly enhances your employability. Now then, let's start by considering employability skills. Employability skills are those skills, attributes, and strengths that are needed for specific roles. Whether you are looking for part-time work or a graduate scheme, you will be expected to have at least some of these skills or the potential to acquire the skills needed to do the job. Increasingly, as I said, employers expect students to have these requisite transferable or generic skills to be work ready upon graduation, and the cultivation of experiences enable the students to develop and acquire those skills. There are several ways in which you can identify your own skills and those listed in the job advertisement. We will look at ways in which you can identify your own skills first and the gaps you may have, and then we will look at ways to identify the skills the job requires. So some of the ways in which you can identify your skills is by looking at a number of sites, and these include visiting UCT's career service website, careers.uct.za/skills, visiting a UK career site, namely prospects.ac.uk, or just Google top 10 skills for graduate interns, for example. When you search the careers.uct.ac.za site, this is what the landing page will look like. When you click on the Student tab and next click on Considering Your Career Options, you will see another drop-down list which is identifying your skills, and you can see the arrow in the slide pointing towards it. When you finally click on Identifying Skills, you will come upon a list of skills that employers typically look for in graduates. The list on this slide is not exhaustive. There are many more listed on the web page. Additionally, if you click on the actual skill, it will reveal the definition for that skill, as well as a couple of questions relating to the skill that you may be asked during an interview. The second way in which you can identify your skills is to use the very useful UK career site called Prospects. If you search for prospects.ac.uk, you will land on a page that enables you to search for skills relating to your degree or the courses you majored in. On this slide, you will see a red arrow pointing to the familiar search icon. If, for example, you majored in English and wish to identify the skills you may have acquired as a result of studying English, you can then click on the search icon, type in English, then click on what can I do with my degree in English. You will then see a drop-down menu on the right-hand side of the page. If you scroll down to Skills for My CV and click on it, it will list all the skills you may have acquired and which you can post to your CV, provided, of course, you have evidence for it. And thirdly, of course, you can just Google what 10 skills do employers most want in graduates, and you will find a list there. If you believe that you develop these as a result of your studies or any of the experiences you've had, then you can post them to your CV with the evidence of where you demonstrated the skill or where you acquired the skill. In the previous slides, I refer to evidence for your skills and I refer to experiences. A good place to start identifying and finding evidence for your skills would be to think of all of the experiences that you've had and activities you've participated in whilst at university, inside and outside of university. The sports that you played, the interests you have, the hobbies you participated in, additional courses you may have undertaken, work that you might have done in the community, voluntary work, part-time work, side hustles. All of those experiences would have given you valuable opportunities to develop the skills, the generic skills that employers are looking for. Of course, identifying and demonstrating evidence for your skills are important. Equally important is being able to identify the skills that companies state they need for a particular job in the advertisements. And this is important so that you ensure that the skills you have match those that that companies are looking for. How to find out about the skills that the job requires? There are several ways to do this. Firstly, there's the job advertisement itself. It will state explicitly the skills the company is looking for a particular job. Additionally, the company website will often indicate what's important for them in order to be successful in the working for the company. And oftentimes you'll get more information that you might find in the job advertisement on the company website. LinkedIn will also list skills associated with a particular job or a role, and so you can just Google LinkedIn for a data analyst skills job, for example, and LinkedIn will give you the information for the skills for similar roles. You can search the skill specific job, just Google without LinkedIn. If companies have not been too specific about what it is they're looking for, expecting you to do the research yourself, which they would regard as you demonstrating your initiative. So let's start with the job advertisement itself. This is an advert placed by Alan Gray on our career service website, and it is for a retail client services consultant. I'll be using the same company to demonstrate the ways in which you can discover and research the requisite skills for successful performance in the role. If you read the advertisement for the job carefully, you will be able to identify the explicit skills as well as those that are implied. If you look on the right-hand side of the slide, you will see the skills that are listed there: strong client focus, proven leadership, strong verbal and written communication, highly adaptable and resilient. If I have you read on the left-hand side, you will read about what the company values. For example, it values building trust, confidence, being dynamic, and an ability to learn. So the combination of those two bits of information will give you a sense of the kind of the skills the company believes are important for successful performance in this role. When you look at the company's website, you will get additional insight into what else the company regards as important for successful performance in the company. You get an idea of its values and how they translate into behaviors and skills in the workplace. If your values resonate with those of the company, then the stronger the fit and the match between you and the job you are applying for. And the stronger you make that link between your skills, attributes, and values, and those of the company, the greater the fit. From this slide, you will see additionally this company values performance. Graduates are performance driven, who have an independent mind, who are client focused. So those are additional values that you can incorporate into you identifying the skills for successful performance in the job. If you go to the company's LinkedIn page, you will discover yet more of what Allen Gray offers and values, which you can include in the skills section of your CV, the profile section of your CV, and in your cover letter. You will notice skills that are similar, just differently named, and this will help tremendously when deciding how many skills to list when so many are mentioned in all of your research. You will see here the company mentions in their LinkedIn profile flexibility, resilience, which is what we've identified before, accountability and collaboration are all important. And you can use these skills to maybe describe your profile if this is what you value as well, or you can include it in your cover letter, amplify it in your cover letter to make that connection between your skills and those of the company. Considering prospective employers won't just take your word for the positive things you say about yourself, you must therefore provide evidence for the skills you say you possess. How then to best present these skills in your CV? When you list your skills, a useful way to think about evidencing it is to use the STAR method to ensure that you have enough detail as evidence of your abilities. So, for example, when describing a skill, describe the situation in which you demonstrated the skill. Describe the task you were trying to achieve by applying the skill. Describe the specific action you took and the result of the action you took. If you look at the slide here, we look at teamwork, for example, collaborated with 4 classmates on a project to identify ways to conserve water during the recent Cape drought. So you will note that the evidence for that skill started with a positive action or active verb. It had quantifiable data in it. The action word is collaborated. The quantifiable data is 4 classmates on the project to identify ways to conserve water. So when you list your skills, begin each bullet with a positive active verb like led, coordinated, established, integrated, interpreted, mentored, chaired, coped. Those are all active positive verbs, and then include quantifiable data. So 5 students in grade 11, fundraising over 4 months, raising 5,000 rand. That just adds the degree of complexity in which you applied the skill, which employers are looking for. So add weight and gravitas to the application of the skills that you demonstrate that you have. How to present your skills in your cover letter. Companies often consider transferable skills as valuable because they can be used in so many situations in the workplace. Typical transferable skills include problem solving, resilience, learning ability, curiosity, teamwork or team player. You'll often see collaboration in there and creativity. This is not an exhaustive list, but there definitely is a priority of skills. When presenting your skills in your cover letter, don't replicate the skills in your CV. In your research, determine which of these are the most valued by prospective employers and then weave them into your cover letter. Choose 2 or 3 to weave into your cover letter and provide evidence of where and how you demonstrated that skill. If, for example, the company values curiosity above all else, don't say that I am naturally curious. Rather say, at every turn I've delved into details of what I'm doing to understand situations from all perspectives so that it makes sense to me to be able to explain to others in a compelling way. That way you are writing a story around how you use your curiosity and are likely to use curiosity in the workplace. To round off how to present your skills in your CV, here are some do's and don'ts when doing so. Do read the advertisement carefully to identify the skills that are required, and read the advertisement again. Research the company's website for skills that may be valued, but not overtly stated because of space constraints. Focus on a select set of skills matched to the role you're applying for, and align your skill set in your application to them. Know and understand the definition of the skills you are reflecting in your application. Identify the powerful action words. Draw on the entire experience, on your entire experience, for evidence of your skills. Use similar phrases, words, and skills that are listed in the job advertisement so that match can be easily and quickly made. As I've said, use powerful action words to describe your experience. Some don'ts. Don't list the skills not relevant. You might want to have them listed on a master CV, but you don't want to have them all listed in the CV that you're applying for a particular job. You do need to prioritize so that there is a good fit with what the company is looking for. Don't neglect to use key skills listed in the advertisement. I guess I'm just repeating what I've said before. Don't lie or embellish. Don't make up a skill or experience you don't possess or have not required. Include it if it does not help. Don't include a skill if it does not help you get the job. Here are some very helpful links to UCT's Career Service website for you to consider, some of which I've covered and others not. There's one on CVs, cover letters and applications. There's the link to identifying skills, which I've covered before. There's a link to the cover letter, which gives you a great example of how to weave your skills into your cover letter. And then there's the Vula site with the career service tile for you to access. To end off, this is just to say that the Finding Work series is brought to you by UCT's Career Service.